Hello, good evening from the Don Valley Stadium. Welcome to the first of 3 special programmes here on Yorkshire Television on the World Student Games. We'll be looking at some of the aspects of this 16th Universiade that you perhaps might not have thought about. Behind me they're clearing away some of the debris from last night's spectacular opening ceremony. We'll have highlights of that later on and the reaction of some of the athletes and the spectators. And we'll look at what it is that goes into making a complicated event like the World Student Games a success.
And I'll be scaling the dizzy heights, cutting a path on the cultural trail, because as well as this wonderful city hosting all the sporting events, they're also hosting the Spirit of 91 Cultural Festival, a festival of music, dance, drama, art, you name it. I'll be taking a closer look at that over the next couple of weeks.
Well, last night, of course, all these seats all around this magnificent stadium were filled for what was a very spectacular, colourful and successful event, the opening ceremony of the 16th World Student Games, and John Helm was there.
This was the night the people of Sheffield had feared might never happen. But 26,000 were packed inside the Don Valley Stadium to witness a momentous occasion in the city's history. The heartbeat of Sheffield is the sound of the steel industry, and the early theme of the ceremony paid tribute to its industrial heritage. Steelworkers and buffer girls set an appropriate tone in a stadium built on the site of old steelworks. It was a spectacular way for Sheffield to show how it's forging a new future. That future will be in the hands of youngsters like 12-year-old Christopher Cookson, chosen to summon his friends to come and play. "1,200 of them responded in perhaps the most moving part of a 2.5-hour epic. The American Judy Chabola, who choreographed the Los Angeles Olympics, had worked wonders to make Sheffield's youth the stars of the show. Balloons filled the air to herald the entry of the 5,500 competitors who've come to Sheffield from all over the world.
Welcome, Canada.
There are 111 competing nations, ranging from large contingents like the one from Canada to Fiji's one-woman team, but all start with equal hopes. The traditional dress of the team from Ghana added an exotic touch. Guam entered flagless, apparently they'd been offered the wrong one.
Tonight in Sheffield, would you welcome the athletes of the Lebanon,
who came by surprise. Their 20-strong team turned up on Saturday night without ever having given notification of entry. Some of them may not even be given permission to compete. Nigeria has brought a football team, exactly 11, no manager, no injuries allowed, but at least they all know they're going to get a game. And predictably, the most tumultuous reception was for the host nation. Britain, under the captaincy of former world record holder in the javelin Steve Mackley, has its biggest ever representation, 306. An impromptu Mexican wave caused a temporary halt, but then Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal took centre stage.
Thousands of people in and around Sheffield have worked and will be working to provide the facilities and the backup you need to perform at your best. I hope you will all enjoy being part of the Games. Well done, Sheffield, and good luck, everyone. I now declare the 16th Universiade open.
The torch, which had been brought from Japan, was handed to Sheffield's own astronaut Helen Sharman, little suspecting that drama was about to follow. Just seconds later, a stumble caused the flame to spill from the torch, an awful moment for the girl who earlier in the day had been granted the freedom of the city. Pluckily, she regathered her senses to make her way to the top of the mound and complete her mission. The Games were well and truly launched. A memorable evening ended with a spectacular show of fireworks and pyrotechnics. It had been a resoundingly successful welcome from Sheffield to the world.
Absolutely fantastic, really wonderful, a fantastic time.
Great.
Very good. Great. I think it's world class.
Hopefully made people see that we're a city on the move.
I think it's made people realise that we're not all black pudding and flat caps.
John Helm at the opening ceremony last night, and this is the flame that's been carried right the way around the world from Sapporo in Japan by Nick Cates and Nicola Airy. If I can give that to you, thank you very much. What did you feel when the accident happened to Helen last night?
A sense of disappointment, obviously. Really, we had to feel for her. She must have felt terrible.
Can be honest, have any accidents happened to you over the...
We've had close shaves, but nothing quite like that. I think what we've learned over the 4 months is not to trust anybody with our flame. So we've kept the miners lamp going all the time, and so it wasn't as big a disaster as it might have been.
What were the highlights for you?
The best one has to have been when we got around the other side and the Japanese were all there. It was wonderful when we came in, massive roar, an ovation, and the competitors started to come out, ran past Great Britain, all the way around there. We're dodging the competitors who were coming out onto the track. But when we reached the Japanese, they were just so pleased to see us with the flame, sort of their flame. They identify with it so much, and that really got to me. You know, this was the purpose of our trip.
Have you stayed friends and in contact with the Japanese that you saw in Sapporo when you started?
Yes, we have stayed in contact with them, and hopefully we'll be seeing them when they're back over here. In fact, we've seen a couple of them already.
And Nick, you've come right around the world. You've come right across America, haven't you?
That's quite correct, yes. We came into the west coast of the States, to Tacoma, up to Vancouver and across Canada by train. Spent 4 or 5 days in Ottawa, where we were superbly well looked after, and down into Buffalo, which is the site of the next games in 1993.
And you're going to stay here and watch some of the sport, I hope?
We certainly hope to, yes. Hockey's my sport, so we're looking forward to going up to the Concourse Sports Centre tonight, seeing the GB team starting off. I just want to get around and see as much as I can.
And we'll certainly be doing that here on Yorkshire Television. In just a moment, we're going to look at the scope of the sport on offer here at the Universiade. But first, let's see what Georgie's been up to.
Well, firmly on the cultural trail, and my first stop is Fargate in Sheffield, where I've come across Reza Hazade, who is a master in Tai Chi. Reza, what's it all about?
Tai Chi is a series of therapeutic exercises that Chinese devised nearly 10,000 years ago.
What's it going to do for me then?
It gives you lots of benefits, such as relaxation, stress relief.
Things like that?
Stress relief management.
Right.
It's good for people who suffer from asthma, hay fever, backache, any minor illnesses. Tai Chi can sort it out.
What's the basic principle of it?
Breathing exercises. Tai Chi is based on breathing and cultivating your natural energy.
How long have you been doing it?
7 years.
Right. Do you think you could teach me how to do some?
I think so.
Because I'm feeling a bit stressed. What with being on the roof and all that. Should we have a go at it?
Yes, why not?
Wonderful.
Making half a big circle, going up, looking at the back of the hands, breathing out, breathing in as you bend forward.
Lovely. It's marvellous. Absolutely marvellous. Going down.
Well, anything she can do, I can certainly do, although the only sport I might win a medal in is something energetic like tiddlywinks. But of the real sports, although the athletics will get probably most of the attention and the swimming, there are 11 sports going on around the Sheffield and Yorkshire area this week, and John Helm has been taking a detailed look at some of those.
Sports and 5,500 competitors from 111 countries. The statistics prove it's the biggest multi-sport event ever held in Britain. But critics of the World Student Games say it's quality, not quantity, that counts.
The quality is there. There's no doubt about the quality in the competition as a whole. There's no doubt about the quality that's in our teams. When you have Olympic champions and world record holders competing, and we go back to Duisburg purely in the athletics, and you have Anna Quiro, Roger Kingdom, Sotomayor, and Rono himself running there, Steve Backley winning in Duisburg. It's there. It's already etched in stone as far as the quality is concerned.
The competition in the athletics is tremendously strong. You know, there are some events where it just could not be stronger, incredibly strong. There's a number of events which are higher than the level of the European Championships. That's at the best level in the World Student Games, without any doubt.
Other sports too are immensely strong. The volleyball competition will be bigger and better than even the Olympics. There'll be 2 world champions competing in the fencing. Basketball too rivals the Olympics in standard, while the gymnastics at previous Universiades has introduced for the first time some of the legendary names of the sport, including Olga Korbut and the Romanian Nadia Comaneci. But hockey is one sport that's treading unknown territory. It's the first time it's been part of the Student Games, and Britain, with at least 6 of next year's Olympic squad, are among the favourites.
It's probably the biggest event we've actually held in this country after the World Cup in '86 in London. And it's a great opportunity for spectators in this country to see top-class hockey, which doesn't actually come here very often. I mean, most of the Champions Trophies are held elsewhere. World Cups generally are held in other countries, Olympic Games too, so it's a great opportunity for the locals to come along and watch us and hopefully support us.
With no qualifying standards for the Games, some of the competitors, especially from the smaller nations, are bound to struggle. But make no mistake, there'll be no easy gold medals in Sheffield.
Oh, totally and utterly Tai Chi'd out. Coming up, we've got how the Games came to Sheffield, and Nate's going to be taking a sideways glance at the more quirky things going on during the festival. Right, who's going to make me a cup of tea then, eh?
Welcome back to the Don Valley Stadium. You know, there were many people over the years who doubted whether this would ever be built, whether the World Student Games would ever take place. It's certainly been a long, long road for the organisers since they first got the right in 1987 in Yugoslavia to stage the 16th Universiade. And we've been taking a look back at how it all began.
Congratulations and celebrations when I tell everyone that you're in love with me. I'm in heaven, I'm in heaven, I'm in heaven. When you smile, fool, if you think it's over, tell you why.
You can't underestimate the potential that Sheffield will gain from being in this position. The sports people in Sheffield, the community, all areas, all levels of Sheffield will benefit.
Bringing rocks out here on a chain. Been working and working, but I still got so terribly far to go.
We're not funding the World Student Games. What we are doing, though, is looking in our existing programmes.
Universiade has nearly spent a £1 million overdraft.
We have a short-term cash flow problem.
Further funding has been made available by the Sheffield City Council to meet the current cash flow requirements.
Can I wish all those involved in the organisation of the Universiade and all those who will be competing in 1991 every success.
Good luck. God bless you all.
I'm afraid that a company which ceases to trade really has no need for employees.
I don't intend to fail. I was involved in the project at the beginning, and I'm looking forward to making sure we finish what we started. There's a heartbeat here which I think augurs very well for 1991.
Heartbeats.
We have money problem, but at the end the problem is always found. And I am sure that Great Britain, so big country, so powerful country, so important country, will find the money.
This is just some of the events you can see around Sheffield at the moment. Down Valley and Rotherhithe. Yee-haw! More of that to come. I think you need a little musical montage coming your way right now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Now then, for the athletes, for the sportsmen and women at the Games, certainly for the better ones amongst them, this sort of thing is what the Games are really all about, the medals. And for the Games organisers, that's been one of the questions. How do you get your hands on 1,000 medals? Well, the answer is they came here. This is one of the world's biggest bullion firms. I'm sitting on about £1 million worth of silver. And this, here in Sheffield, is where those medals have been made. Tesco have made the medals for nothing except prestige. They're used to making coins, so medals were no problem, apart from some of the designs chosen from a national students' competition.
The students who actually made these designs didn't actually have any consideration for the difficulty of the manufacture, which in a normal numismatic or currency situation, the people would consider the difficulty of making them. So yes, we have had a bit of difficulty reproducing the pictures onto the metal.
It's been a tremendous boost to us because the quality and value, the intrinsic value of the medals is very high, and it's hallmark silver. So we're going to get some real Sheffield metal into these athletes all over the world.
It's not all so simple. By last week, the director of events was head of problems, like how many teams were actually coming.
What's your latest intelligence now on the final country run? I mean, is that it? I've got 112. We better cross-check this one.
Each new team that does fly in brings new difficulties. The Spanish, for instance.
Joan Faraday, the manager, said they've been allocated A block.
Right, okay.
Have you checked that?
They have got A block, but it's dirty apparently, and but you know how they are.
I'll get onto them in a bit.
At least their flag's in here somewhere. So's the flag of every country, at least the ones they know are coming.
Is it silly to ask you to get me the very latest print off on countries' entries? Is it a bit...
I've never used this machine before.
It is silly then. Some flags. Reassure me. Stop me having another heart attack. I bet the only one you haven't got's a Brit. Hong Kong.
We've had difficulty with some of them. The Yemen was a particularly tricky one because they've just merged, and we had to sort of ring up and chase around what their new flag was. We've had to have that manufactured.
Then there are the trays for the medals.
It must be lighter and possibly smaller, and we can confirm that today if you want.
24 hours a day checking on things like extra large duvets for basketball players can be a strain, and it shows.
Helen, is he brain dead yet, this fella, or what? Hillary. He does things like that.
The Sheffield Arena has its own seats, thank you very much, but these have come from Newbury in Berkshire for the hockey at the Concord Centre. And while the cutlery in the massive athletes' canteen is solid Sheffield steel, the chairs, enough to seat 2,200, come from Holland. They come from Japan, and like everybody else, they need a pass.
It's one of the most difficult parts of any major sports event. We will probably accredit pushing 18,000 people at the end of the game, by the end of the games.
Right, great, thanks. And you want 50 chairs? Okay, guys, cheers.
There's always something, like,
When's the next delivery of ice to the venue? How many food vouchers do our volunteers need?
Where is my telephone? My fax isn't working. Where do I get toilet paper from? All the normal sort of things that upset individual people.
Cauliflower, please, and some roast potatoes.
Our daily consumption will be an average of 1 ton of potatoes, a ton of meat, 700 gallons of milk.
Enough to give them stomachache, him a headache, and as for toothache...
Cancel the dentist.
Some things just have to wait.
Cancel the dentist.
And that's just about it. Don't forget to join us on YTV at 11:35 tonight for the first of our 1-hour special programmes of sporting highlights, including tonight the first medals won in the water, not in this pool here, but at the Ponds Forge for the swimming events. Don't forget also that calendar throughout the next fortnight will be bringing you full reports on the games. And we'll be back, myself, John and Georgie, next Monday at 6:30 to look at some of the more offbeat aspects of the event. Until then, from all of us in Sheffield, a very good night to you.
Coming next here on YTV, a new comedy series with Tommy Cannon and Bobby Ball as two security guards on Plaza Patrol.